Long ago, before the world grew crowded with towns and roads, before the sky was broken by wires and the ground by iron, there was a village at the edge of the wide, wide savanna. The land was full of grass that shimmered like golden spears in the sun, and tall trees that stretched their arms to the heavens. In that village, people rose with the sun, worked with the sun, and rested when the sun sank low. They lived in rhythm with the world. Among them was a boy named Kofi, whose ears were sharper than his eyes and whose heart beat like a drum. He loved to listen, to the crickets at night, to the groan of cattle, to the songs his grandmother sang while grinding millet. While other children raced and shouted, Kofi sat quietly beneath trees, hearing what others did not. The village was blessed with plenty. The river wound its silver body through the land, the women sang as they washed clothes on its banks, and the hunters returned with heavy game. When the rains came, the drums beat joyfully, and the people danced barefoot in the mud. But in every season of plenty, the seeds of hunger sleep. One year the rains did not come. At first the people waited patiently, saying, "They will arrive tomorrow." But tomorrow passed, and the next, and the next. The river thinned to a trickle, the fields cracked, dust coated the cattle's hides, and the hunters returned empty-handed. Mothers looked at their pots with worry, and the laughter of children grew quiet. Above them the sun burned hot and merciless, as though the sky had forgotten how to weep. One moonlit night, Kofi sat beneath the great baobab tree that stood at the heart of the village. Its trunk was so wide that 10 men, hand in hand, could not encircle it. He leaned against its bark and closed his eyes. Then he heard it, dum-dum, dum-dum. Not his own heartbeat, not the steps of a lion, but the heartbeat of the tree itself. The baobab whispered, "Child of the village, inside me sleeps the drum that calls the rain. Only one with a listening heart may wake it. But beware, strike it in anger and storms will rise. Strike it in pride and floods will come. Strike it in respect and the sky will bless you." Kofi trembled and ran to the elders, telling them what the tree had said, but they laughed. "Your head is full of stories," they said. "What can you know that the Rainmaker does not?" The Rainmaker was an old man with hair white as cotton and eyes like glowing coals. He sang his chants, burned his herbs, and beat his drums. Smoke rose into the sky, but the clouds did not answer. The earth stayed dry, the people grew thin, and fear hung heavy. At last, when hope seemed nearly gone, Kofi returned to the baobab. "Great tree," he whispered, "how can I help my people?" The baobab rustled its leaves. "Cut carefully, child. Within me rests the drum. Take it with respect and let your hands follow the rhythm of the earth." Kofi's hands shook, but hunger pushed him forward. With his small knife, he cut gently into the bark. The tree shivered, its leaves trembling though no wind blew. Slowly, he drew out a drum carved from the heartwood itself, strung with the ancient hide of a forgotten beast. It was heavy in his arms, but it seemed to hum with power. The villagers gathered in the square as Kofi carried it. Some laughed, some scoffed, and the elders frowned. But the weary Rainmaker lifted his staff. "Let the boy try," he said. Kofi set the drum before him. He listened not to himself but to the earth beneath him, to the heartbeat he had heard beneath the tree. Then he struck the drum. Dum-dum, dum-dum. Soft and steady, like roots reaching deep, like rivers longing to flow. The sound carried, sinking into the ground, rising into the sky. At first nothing happened. The people shook their heads, but then a breeze stirred. A cloud drifted by. Another and another. The sky darkened. A drop fell onto Kofi's drum. The people gasped as rain sprinkled the earth. It was only a brief shower, enough to cool the dust, but it was hope. The people cried for more. "Play again," they begged. But Kofi remembered the baobab's warning, not in pride, not in anger, only in respect. He hesitated. Among the crowd stood a hunter named Abeo, tall and strong, proud and fierce. He had hunted lions and killed leopards, and he trusted his strength above all things. Watching the boy hold power that he himself could not wield made his heart burn with envy. "Why should a child hold such a gift?" he muttered. "If I had the drum, I would summon the rains whenever I wished." That night while the village slept, Abeo crept into Kofi's hut. He snatched the drum and carried it to a hill outside the village. Raising it high, he struck it with all his might. Bam, bam, bam. He did not listen, he did not respect, he beat it like a war drum. The sky roared in answer. Dark clouds rushed across the horizon, lightning split the heavens, thunder shook the ground, and the rain fell in sheets. But this was no blessing. The river burst its banks, huts collapsed, fields flooded, and cattle scattered. The people cried out in terror. The drum grew hot in Abeo's hands. Flames licked its edges, and with a roar it hurled him into the mud. The storm stopped as suddenly as it had begun, leaving ruin behind. Ashamed, Abeo bowed before Kofi. "Forgive me," he whispered. "I thought strength was enough, but it is respect the sky listens to, not power." That night no drums were played. The village sat in silence, heavy with shame. They remembered the proverb, "When the big tree falls, the little birds lose their nest." If Abeo could stumble, any of them could. Pride had nearly drowned them all. But greed also has many shapes. From the tall grass beyond the firelight, yellow eyes had watched it all. Hyena, sly and hungry, had seen the rain fall for Kofi and again for Abeo. His crooked laugh rattled low. "Heh heh heh. If I had that drum, the world would bow to me. Rivers would flood with fish, trees would drip with honey, and I would never go hungry again." That night Hyena crept to the baobab where the drum now rested. "Great tree," he whined, "I am only a poor beast with many mouths to feed. Give me the drum and I will use it kindly." The baobab thundered, "Your belly is your master, Hyena. You seek only to fill yourself." But Hyena snatched the drum and fled to the dry riverbed. There he beat it with his paws. Bam, bam, bam. The sky darkened once more. Rain poured, fish leapt, grass shot up green and tall. Hyena feasted, laughing wildly. But the rain did not stop. The river swelled, the fish floated dead, and the grass drowned. The storm grew furious. Hyena struck harder, crying for it to end, but the more he played, the worse it became. At last lightning cracked and the drum leapt from his paws, rolling back to the baobab. Hyena tumbled into the flood, crawling out shivering, his laugh forever twisted with shame. At dawn the villagers found the drum again at the tree's roots, unharmed. Kofi touched it gently, whispering thanks. The elders shook their heads. "Even the beasts covet this gift. Truly it must be guarded with wisdom." That evening Kofi called the people together. "The drum is not mine," he said. "It belongs to us all. If we wish for rain, we must play together, not with pride, not with greed, but with respect." The women began to sing, the children clapped, the men stamped their feet. Kofi listened to the earth, to the sky, to the heartbeat of his people, and then struck the drum. Dum-dum, dum-dum. The sound rose with the voices and feet of the village. Clouds gathered, the wind stirred, and lightning danced gently across the sky. Thunder rumbled like laughter, and then the rain came, steady, soft, and full of blessing. It filled the river, soaked the fields, and washed the people clean. They danced barefoot in the mud, their joy rising with the rain. When at last it softened to a mist, the people lifted Kofi high, but he shook his head. "The drum does not belong to me. It belongs to us all. The sky listens not to pride nor to greed, but to unity, respect, and the heartbeat of the earth." The elders nodded, the hunter Abeo bowed, and even Hyena, lurking at the edge of the firelight, slunk away in silence. From that day on, whenever the rains were late, the people did not call only the rainmaker. They gathered at the baobab together, singing, clapping, stomping, and drumming with respect. And always, always, the sky answered.